The huge tax benefits of Social Security. All right, so I was working these couple yesterday from Louisiana. Leaving Louisiana in the broad daylight. They're not leaving Louisiana. They're born and bred, and they're staying in Louisiana. And we're just going over some financial planning stuff for them. They got a couple of years yet to work, and they're doing fine. We got to talk about Social Security, and I made a point. Said, man, it's weird. I just got on my feed this video from some guy in a car. I don't know who he is. I'm sure he's all right, but he says definitely take Social Security at 62. And I hadn't watched the video because I just don't care, like whatever. And but I must have got that on Friday or Saturday and had like 75,000 views. And then I got it like yesterday on my feed. It had like 150,000 views. I was like, what is going on? I was like, why is YouTube promoting this so much? It's weird to me. And that's okay. And then I asked my man, we'll call him Rick. I said, Rick, he said, yeah, he's got the same video. And he basically said, basically what he was saying about that video was that you take Social Security at 62 because they're running out of money. Okay. Anyway, so the point being, what I want to show you here is this idea of taking at 62. There are some people who should take at 62. I was dealing with these folks up in Hawaii. Had a late child, and the husband is basically 64. I said, man, your kid's 9 years old. You might as well take it early, dude. You know what I'm saying? You get the benefit for the kid until he's, 18? And that's a pretty significant benefit, man. You know what I'm saying? The kid will get half of his PIA. So let's just go real quick, a brief tutorial. So a PIA, the primary insurance amount, that is the amount you're going to get at your FRA, which is your full retirement age. Your full retirement age, if you're born in 1960 or later, is 67. Your full retirement age, if you're born before 1960, will be 66 and some months. All right, so we're going to say 67 for simplicity. So your FRA is your full retirement age. All right, that is when your PIA, in this case we'll say Rick's PIA, his primary insurance amount, is the amount of money you get at your full retirement age. You can take Social Security before your FRA, but then your PIA, then you're going to get a reduction to your PIA. Your PIA will stay the same. Your primary insurance amount is the same, but the amount of benefit you get will be reduced from that PIA. I hope that makes sense. This won't change. $3,000 is your PIA. If you take Social Security at 62, it'll be reduced by, 25%. I can't remember off the top of my head. From your PIA. If you take Social Security at 70, it'll be increased by 24% above your PIA. All right, always remember that. The PIA is critically important. That's the amount you get at your full retirement age. Always start with that baseline. I cannot stress this enough. Don't go into a software and say, my benefit at my PIA is $3,000 a month. I'm going to take it at 62. That's I'm going to get $3,000 a month. It doesn't work like that, man. All right, anyway, so point being. So in this case, we got Rick, and we'll call his wife Mary. Rick and Mary in Louisiana. They got 3 dogs. They moved out on 5 acres because their dogs are allowed and their neighbors' dogs are allowed. And they said there's no peace around here, so they moved out on some acreage. They're both working, both have heavy commutes. And they're like, they just want to know if they're on track. And they're on track to retire probably about 3 more years. But not yet, but about 3 more years. And I said, if you can find a gig that's less commuting, that's something you want to consider. But for the time being, you're on track. So we're crunching some numbers, talking about taking Social Security at 62. And Rick's about a year older than his better half, Mary. And I said, and we're going to have Rick, we're killing off Rick well before Mary dies, all right? We're just chivalrous here at Heritage Wealth Planning. So Mary's going to survive Rick by, I think we had 7 years or something like that. So for Rick, because his PIA was significantly higher than Mary's benefit will be based on Rick's amount. So Mary's going to get half of Rick's primary insurance amount, assuming she takes it at her full retirement age as well, at 67. So given that Rick is older, given that Rick has a bigger benefit, and given that Rick is going to predecease Mary, we want Rick taking it at his full retirement age, if not later, for sure. Now, he's only like 60 years old now, so we don't have to make this decision today, but off the table to take at 62. Off the table. No other way around it. Because what happens is when old Rick dies, Mary is going to get the benefit of either the larger of her own benefit or Rick's. Well, it's going to be Rick's. So we want to make sure that we enhance Mary's benefit as much as we possibly can. So Rick should take it at his full retirement age, if not 70. To be determined. We can discuss Mary taking it early if she wants. She has her own benefit on her record. It's small, but that might be something to take at 62. And we'll have to cross that bridge later with these people. But as it is now, we're going to assume that Mary's benefit is half of Rick's at her PIA at 67. All right. So we're going to assume this is their benefit right now. $3,000 for old Rick, $1,500 for old Mary. That's $4,500 a month in Social Security. All right. So that's what we're going to go with. All right. So I want to show you why the tax benefits. You cannot just look at taking it early versus taking it later. You've got to look at the tax benefits too. All right. So here, Rick and what's her name, Mary, they need about $75,000 a year. All their debts will be paid off once they hit retirement. They got a couple car loans. All that stuff's gonna be paid off. So they're working like a freaking banshee, and they're paying off their debts, paying off their debts, paying off their debts, and they're gonna need about $75,000 a year when they retire. A little bit more than $6,000 a month, and that does include Medicare. What about healthcare? That includes Medicare. So they're gonna need a little bit more than $6,000 a month. If we wait until their full retirement age at 67, their benefit's $4,500 a month. That's times 12. That's $54,000 a year. All right. $54,000 a year is what they'll get from Social Security at their FRA, the full retirement age. They need $75,000 a year, which means they'll need to pull $21,000 a year from their portfolio, and they don't have a huge portfolio. They don't. They got it's not $1 million off the top of my head. I can't remember what it was, but they need $21,000 a year from their portfolio. Everybody with me on that so far? So what we do is we got to figure out what is our taxable amount of Social Security, to figure out what our taxes are on this income stream. $54,000 from Social Security, $21,000 from their portfolio. What is the ultimate taxes they're going to pay? And it's freaking nuts how low it is. So what we do is we take their Social Security benefit, which is $54,000, divide by 2, and add any other income. That would be even tax-exempt interest income, by the way. In this case, they don't have any tax-exempt interest. It's all in a 401k IRA. So it's going to be $21,000 as a distribution from their IRA. So they take Social Security, half that is $27,000, plus their $21,000 they're going to pull from their IRA. That gives them a provisional income of $48,000. All right. Now again, provisional income is just to determine how much of your Social Security is subject to taxation. Has nothing to do right now with your 1040 tax. It's just how much of your Social Security is subject to taxation. So we take $48,000. Now they're married filing jointly, which means the first $32,000 of their provisional income, you use a big fat goose egg. There's no taxes whatsoever on your first $32,000 of Social Security provisional income, none. The next $12,000 between $32,000 and $44,000, half of that amount is subject to taxation. All right, and that's $6,000. So the first 32, nothing. The next 12. Half of that is $6,000, and anything above $44,000, 85% of that is subject to taxation. Well, here they only got $48,000, so they only have $4,000 above $44,000. 4,000 times 0.85 is $3,400, man. So $9,400 of their $54,000 of Social Security is subject to taxation. Just subject to taxation, not tax, subject. 94 divided, geez Louise and blue cheese, divided by 54,000. That's 17% of their Social Security. Can you all see that? I guess not, huh? Well, anyway, trust me, so there we go. Something like that. 17% of their Social Security is subject to taxation. All right, so now what we do is we got to go to our 1040. We got to say, okay, we got to figure out what our AGI is. So what we do is we take that $9,400, we pull it over here, we add that to our IRA distribution, which is $21,000. We add these two numbers up, our taxable Social Security amount plus our IRA distribution. That gives us an AGI, adjusted gross income, of $30,400. All right. Now, AGI also hasn't had his standard deduction taken out. So we take out our standard deduction. I can't remember off the top of my head, but married filing jointly over the age of 65, I think it's like $28,000, something like that. In this case, it's really, we're talking pennies here. We're going to have a standard deduction of $28,000. $30,400 is the AGI. Standard deduction is $28,000. Taxable income is $2,400. They're in a 10% tax bracket. They're going to pay $240 of taxes on $75,000 of income. $240 of taxes on $75,000, 75. So $240. I should have got my other calculator. That is an effective tax rate of 0.0032, less than 1%, 1/3 of 1%. That's taxation on Social Security. So if we were to make this more taxable, what we'd do, we'd decrease this. I'm not going to do it here. I'll do it in another video. We decrease the amount of Social Security. We'd take that, what is it, 30? I can't remember. It's 30%. How much is it reduced? 7.5% a year. I think it might be 32%. So we'll just, for simplicity, we'll take that 4,500, times that by 0.68. That'd be 3,000 a year as opposed to 40 a month, as opposed to 4,500. So now instead of 54,000, let me just do that in a different video. Because I want to show you the difference that if we actually take Social Security early and pull money from our 401k more, you're going to pay a whole lot more in taxes. And remember, we want to be poor on paper. We don't want Sniffy Joe sniffing around you, dude. We don't want him sniffing around you with this freaking 85,000 of AR-15 armed IRS agents who are busting into gun dealerships in Montana. We don't want any of that. We want to look poor on paper. And the way to look poor on paper is to maximize Social Security. If you like these videos, they help you, buy me a cup of coffee. I take decaf only. I'm too hyper. I don't need any caf, dude. I don't need cocaine. Don't need caffeine. Your old buddy Josh, as hyper as it is, buy me decaf and doobie-doo. You can sign up for the newsletter as well. I get political in my newsletter, my email list. So if you don't like politics, you don't like talking about Jesus, don't sign up. I don't want you. It's cool. You can watch my videos and you can throw freaking darts at me. Don't sign up on my email list because there's no reason to waste your time if you don't want to be hearing about that stuff. But anyway, so sign up for my email list if that's okay. If you're okay, I'll say, I don't like to hear about Jesus. Oh my goodness. Because if loving the Lord is wrong, I don't want to be right. We'll see you.